Welcome back to part 5 of Alone in the Dark. Here we are at the top of the circular stairs that lead up to the attic, but we cannot actually re-enter the attic. We just had a cutscene there. So we're going to go ahead and turn downstairs. We want to go down 2 flights of stairs and then head through the double doors. We have a cutscene, which I'm going to skip for you.
Will go back to normal.
That reminds me.
Here we're just checking our inventory. We are making some pretty good progress on our Lagniappes. We have 6 sets complete out of 15, so not too bad. By the time we finish Emily's playthrough, we should have 13 of 15 completed. And since we spent so long away from Derceto, don't forget to check your map. Where we're headed is the water closet near the servant stairs. So at the far end of the grand parlor, we'll go through the doors that lead to the dining room, and then the single door leads to the servant stairs. And
What is going on here?
the very first door is the water closet. We came in here in the very beginning of the game and there was nothing, but now we have broken spectacles as our next Lagniappe, and you can find those inside of the sink. We want to go into Lottie's room next because there is a new clue here on the desk. The preparations for St. John.
Jeremy's pact with the roll. You must talk to your brother, Baptiste. I worry that he will fail us. Mrs. Thompson.
Once you've gathered that, we want to head over to the library next. On the shelf directly in front of the door is the Lunacy and the Astarte Artists Colony clue.
Even the name
I know, it's
Derceto is the great
super
name of a
long title.
1,000 names.
It has a couple of pages, so be sure to view both pages. When we exit, we have to head up the stairs. And when we come around to the door, we get the Do Not Disturb Lagniappe. If you remember a few videos ago, I did come up here and check, and there was nothing there yet, but we have to wait until we get back from the Egyptian burial site to be able to get that Lagniappe. So we're headed down the stairs again, back through the library. And then in this room here, we can no longer get into that room with the Barlow lens. So we're going to go to the outdoor area with the large tree. And if you come down to these stairs, we get the Keep Our Secrets clue. That's right by the door that would lead to the cellar. But this door is locked now and we can't get through. So we're going to keep on going through the double doors to the uncovered outside area where we can see it's now raining. And we're going to head up the ladder because all the doors seem to be blocked now for some reason. As you can see, I'm walking slowly along this balcony to show you that the ladder falls down. Once we climb up here, we can't go back that way, and the door behind us is blocked. So we won't be able to go back that way to get to that area. So what we want to do is run up the stairs and then take the door to the left. We're going to go into Jeremy's room. On the little table over here, he has left a clue for Detective Carnby. Even though we're not playing as Detective Carnby, we're going to read it anyway. Then if you check your map, you'll see Batiste's room is right next door. That's where we need to go. And in here, Lottie has left a clue for Batiste, saying,
Brother,
"Trust
I need you
me."
to trust me. This is the most important moment in our family's history. I know you have doubts and that the terrible Mama Loa told you lies. I would never betray you. I promise. Lottie.
It's a little suspicious. But you know, brothers and sisters often have secrets. So, we're going to head over to the mezzanine doors and head around the top level. And we're going to unlock this door. This door tends to lock itself quite a bit. It's super annoying, but we need to make sure that we get the trophy for unlocking all the doors and chests in the game. So just make a quick pass by and make sure it's unlocked. As you can see, when we came out of the mezzanine, I turned to the right. That's where we need to go. But I turned back really quick just to make sure that this door to the servant stairs is unlocked. So now we want to head back to the other door. So yeah, we're going to come out of this area away from Jeremy's room, cross over this room with the clock, and enter the next door into the sitting room where we have a cutscene.
Ups and downs, I suppose.
I hear that. We all live in the life of an elevator operator.
Are you alright, sweetie?
Do you want to see my mask, miss? I'm making it for St. John's.
Once that cutscene's finished and we get control back in Grace's room, we want to exit out into the sitting room and make sure to speak to MacCarfey.
At least he's breathing.
He's not going to talk back,
I'll just let
but
him
we
see
have
now.
to interact with him as though we'd be speaking for the Chatterbox trophy. And next to him on the floor is the first floor hall key, which is sort of directly beneath us. Before going down there, we want to go into Cassandra's room. When we enter the room, immediately on the left, we get the movie script Lagniappe and the Cassandra's last page. Clue, don't forget to grab these items. And that's all we need in there. So now we can head out of the sitting room and down the stairs. And be sure to do this. This door here to the left has been locked the whole game. We're going to use the key on the door and be sure to unlock it, because if we don't, it will naturally unlock itself later and we'll miss that unlock. Here you can see the dark man is pointing to the room at the end of the hallway, which lets us know that we probably should go there. But first, we want to go back into this reception room. If we open the double doors here, on this chaise lounge is the Flying Dutchman Lagniappe, which gives us another completed set. Then we want to go behind the counter,
Mr. Waits must have had a spare key to Dr. Gray's office, but
and we're going to head back to this
I know the
safe and
combination.
use the same code that we did in the beginning of the game, 913,
it worked.
because there's a new item that's locked up in the safe, the key to Dr. Gray's office. So before we go and inspect the room that the dark man pointed to, we need to go and inspect Dr. Gray's office, which is just around the bookshelf. In here, there are quite a
Dr.
few
Gray's office.
items.
Now let's see if we can find some answers.
So on the desk in the typewriter is the Jeremy's treatment clue.
To break through the barriers of his self-deceit.
And you can see there's an open drawer. Inside of that drawer is the stairwell key. Then around to the other side of the
I
room
have
is the
finished
Cassandra's
tidying up
things
Miss
clue.
Beauregard's belongings. I will.
And France, which we can head back to the globe now. Oh yes, unlock these double doors when you exit. Make sure to go through these double doors so that you can unlock that door. And then you'll get this weird cutscene. Once it finishes, you can just exit. And the first place we're going to go is up the stairs to the sitting room to use the piece of France on the globe in the sitting room. It's right here in the corner to the right when you enter.
Something missing.
And once we place it there, we'll have some health items hidden inside. And again, it's going to give me fits as to where to stand to collect the Lagniappe, but it's a map of the Caribbean. From here, we check our map and we're going to head downstairs. And we're going to enter that hall area where we unlock the door. So this is an area we have not explored yet. The first room on the left is MacCarfey's room. In here we'll have a moment of clarity clue on his trunk. But for Emily's story, the important room is the next room. This is Ruth's room, and we're going to find the war photo Lagniappe on her bedside table. Make sure to pick that up. That is for Emily only. You will not find that in Edward's playthrough at all. And then over on her trunk is the Henry Cassel clue. That's also for Emily only. So you won't find that either if you play as Edward. And at this juncture, you're going to find things. If you play as Edward, you'll find things that you cannot find as Emily. If you go into the grand parlor, you'll see it's changed. It's turned into some sort of a bar. Go behind the bar and pick up the jangling shaker Lagniappe. This Lagniappe can be picked up by either of the characters. And in order to get things back the way they should be, you have to exit out the side doors. But this is a good opportunity to use the stairway key. And just out of an abundance of caution, we're going to come down here before we do anything else. Come down the stairs, open up the red door. Do not go too far. Stay as close to the door as possible. Turn to the right and grab the Scapegoat Lagniappe, because this one does not always appear when it's time to come down there. It's really finicky about whether the power is on or off, and sometimes it doesn't come back. So be sure to go and grab that and then leave immediately. Don't explore any more in that area. Just pick up the scapegoat, turn around, and leave the room. Go up the one flight of stairs, and when we enter the grand parlor, you'll see it's back to normal. When you come out the doors, you can enter the third door where the dark man was pointing.
This is my room.
When we enter this room, on the right, we can find the ashes of Indigo Lagniappe, which gives us another completed set. And then if you look over on the wall, you can interact with the wallpaper to get clues as to what could possibly be the code for the safe. And based on these clues, if you open up your inventory and look at the ring that you had in your inventory when you started the game,
when I get back,
you can see an engraving on it that says the year. And you want to use the last 3 numbers of that year. So 918 is the code to the safe
know the
for Emily's
combination.
playthrough
Wait.
only.
Maybe
When
I
you
do.
play as Edward, you will have a different code to enter this safe. And you'll have different items inside. For Emily, we get the flashbulb, which is needed for story progression,
Finally found the
and the
memory.
2 Emily
Ruth.
clue. Once we gather those items, you can leave the room, and we're going to head back over to Ruth's room because she had a camera set up in her room. So we'll insert the light bulb and take a picture, which will transport us to yet another
Is this how
world.
you travel, Ruth?
It was France, where John died. Maybe this meant she could save him.
So obviously, John is Emily's husband, being that she's carrying a wedding ring
I'll find you.
with his name on it. And it looks like he was in the war. So we're going to go ahead and follow all of these trenches. This is not
What was that?
This is not a difficult section, and you'll only play through it as Emily. With Edward, you'll get something completely different, and honestly, I think his story is better. You'll see frozen soldiers in a lot of places, but you cannot interact with them. You just have to keep following along the trench. It's very linear. So you can go and look in other places. There may possibly be some ammunition or some health or something around. But for the most part, we really don't need anything. And most of the boxes don't have anything. So when you get to that little crossroad, you want to go to the left. And we need to go to where the area is burning at the top. And you can run through here. There are no enemies yet. Here, I believe this makes a complete circle. So I don't think it matters which way you go. I chose to go left because a lot of the time, in games, I just go left first. I think most games expect you to go right. Sometimes they trip me up though. Anyway, you're gonna walk. You'll have a few buildings like this. They look like, you know, maybe where the soldiers would sleep, or there might be a medical area. But sometimes Emily will say John's name as if she's looking for him. But we can just keep on going. There's nothing of importance in any of these rooms. There's no lagniappes or clues or anything. I think this is more just to show that Emily is concerned about John and she's searching for him, so they give you the option to go through and she'll have that, you know, one-word dialogue each time. And I'm not giving you direction because, like I said, this is very, very linear. Once we come out of that area that's more like barracks, I guess, you'll be out in the open again. And you can come along this trench here. You can see in the upper right corner that there are periodic saves. At this point, we are going to see our first enemy, and you'll get a
God, I
prompt
thought I
to
was done with
sneak.
you.
So what we're going to do is come into this little side area where the lamp is, and we're going to just wait. Stand behind the little chicken wire wall and aim your camera to where you can see the enemy and just wait for him to pass by. We really don't want to have to engage if we don't have to. He stops to do an animation you know, to sniff around and growl every so often. So just let him do his thing, and once he gets far enough away, start sneaking to where he came from. And we can sneak all the way to the end. He will turn around and start following us, but it appears that he might be blind because he doesn't charge us or run at us or anything. You can just sneak all the way through. He won't catch up to you. And as long as you don't walk or run, he will not know that we were even there. When you come out, take the right path. I'm continuing to sneak here just in case. I don't want to aggro that enemy, and I think he turns around. I don't think that he will follow us down this path. But just to be safe, I'm still sneaking. On the left, you'll see a place where you can shimmy through the makeshift wall. Here I am continuing to sneak because there are enemies above us. We want to climb up, which I will say I do appreciate the blood markings in replacement for yellow paint to show you where to go. It's a little bit harder to see, so not quite as obvious. It's a nice touch. Here, as you go through, you'll have to just go straight ahead and then take the little path that goes down to the right and drop down. There will be some enemies up there, but we don't have to engage with them. Immediately go back to sneaking, because on the opposite side of this debris in the middle is another one of those large horned enemies. So what we're going to do is follow his path. We're going to wait just a second. Don't go past that debris just yet, because he's going to turn around and walk the down the other path to go around the debris. So just wait for him, and when he goes away, you can sneak right past. We need to go into this area here on the left that is covered. Once we get inside, you can stop sneaking. You can just walk. Although, I continue to sneak for a little while. And there will be, again, only one path you can really go to. Everything else is blocked off. So we can run through here. You can stop and check this medical area if you like, but John is not in here. When we come out of that little medical area, there is you can pick up that melee weapon if you need it. Here there are more enemies, so we're gonna sneak along, and I'm going around the left side of this structure in the middle. It's just gonna take us in a circle. And we didn't go straight because the creature was right there. I don't care for Emily's section here. That's just for her, because I find it very slow. You have to sneak so much to get through. Edward's is much faster and more interactive. So you can go ahead and break down that barrier. And there's another barrier here. But this is going to take us back to an area that we've already been. So if we went through there and turned right, we'd be back to where we just went around the structure and snuck around the enemy. So that's not the way that we need to go. See, there he is. There's the guy we snuck around. So we're gonna, once we come out of there, we're gonna go to the right and shimmy through this debris. And here when we exit, we have to go to the left. There's nowhere else to go on the right. It looks like we might be able to climb that ladder, but we can't. I believe it's broken. Again, only one way we can go. We have to shimmy again. And as we go through these trenches, you can just walk through, follow the path. We get more red blood marks to show where to go, drop down. And here, we are going to have to make a run through this bunker area. When you get to the end, you'll see that you cannot open the door, unfortunately. And the creature's coming for us. So just stand there and wait. When we gain control of Emily back, we'll have to crawl out of all of that debris. You can see the creature impaled himself apparently and completely missed us. How lucky. And as you walk forward, you'll see a frozen scene. We're going to get a cut scene where Emily thinks that she sees John in that explosion. And we wake up.
Where am I?
Emily
We're back
woke to
inside
an
your settle.
overwhelming smell of musty earth and gluttonous thick air. Where was she?
But this is down in the basement. This is an area that we have not explored yet. So you'll wake up on that cot. And if we go to the red door on the left, we'll see that we need a key. So we'll head in the opposite direction.
Oh, come on.
We just are waiting for the flashlight to start working again. And as you come through this sort of crypt area, there are a lot of bodies just kind of stacked up. Here, we have to put the power back on. So we need to flip the number 2 switch and we'll get power again. Come over to this cabinet where we get the entombment plans B. And this is a key item. If you turn around from the cabinet and head to the other wall, in the drawer on the desk, we have some ammunition and a box of Biscuits Lagniappe. Don't forget to grab those. Go over to the next desk on the right and we get the closing the refuge clue.
At the end of the summer, we should be able
That's
to
in the
leave
drawer.
DeSoto to recover. Dr. Isaac Herbert.
And if you walk to the table in the middle, grab the paper first. It's the entombment plans A. And then we're going to have a puzzle. If you see this blueprint here, you can map it out if you like to know where each plan is going to go. You can sort of read them if you screenshot it and look at it for a good long while and write it down. You can see where everything should go. Once we interact with it and we put all the papers down, we're going to have to move these in the right order. So what we want to do is take the upper middle, move it to the upper left corner. Then we want to take the upper right, turn it 2 times to the left, and move it to the upper middle. I know I'm taking a long time with this. I'm sorry. I'm trying to make sure that I turn them properly. Then we want to take the bottom right and move it to the middle. Next is the bottom middle. Turn it 2 times to the left and bring it to the bottom left corner. Then we want the middle right piece. Turn it 1 time to the left and move it to the upper right corner. Then we want the bottom right piece. Turn it 1 time to the right and move it to the middle left. Then take the bottom right again, turn it 1 time to the left and move it to the bottom middle. Next, we will grab the bottom right piece again, turn it 1 time to the right and drop it back down in the bottom right corner. So just pick it up, turn it 1 time to the right and put it back down where we picked it up from. Then move over to the middle right, turn it 1 time to the left and drop it back down in the same spot.
What's that?
Once you got it correct, it will zoom in here on the name John Marcus for the Dorsetto Refuge. Here we'll get a cut scene where Emily has a realization. And when we finish with the scene, we get the truth key. So from here, where we come out of the cutscene, we need to turn around, and you see that little circle there? We want to go and grab this toe tag Lagniappe off of the body. And that completes another set, which gives us a secret objective. If we check the map, we can see where we are. We're near that circular stairwell that takes us up to the mezzanine in the grand parlor, but all the way at the bottom inside the basement. So we're going to go back to that red door that was locked before. We can unlock it now. And we get the I Abandoned Him trophy. This is story related for Emily only. When we come out, go to the door directly across, and inside this room we're going to get the first radiograph. There's nothing else in here. The door to the right is not really a door, it's just a doorway. And you can see the power went out again. Go into this room, and we get the radiograph notes on that table. Then next to it is the if all else fails clue. We need to turn left into this small room. Immediately on the right, we can pick up an electrical fuse. We're going to need 2 of these. And here you can place the electrical fuse in the circuit breaker. There's a key on the table for the surgery room and another radiograph. So we can't do anything without the power. We're going to go ahead and exit this room. And when we come out, there is a door across to the right. We'll use the surgery room key, and we get the You Can't Keep Me Out trophy. That is for unlocking all of the doors and chests in the game. Go straight ahead, grab the electrical fuse out of that radio or recorder or whatever it is. And then we want to head back over to the fuse box. Place that electrical fuse inside. And now we can move the switches. The correct order is the first switch, the fourth switch, and then the second switch. That will get the power back on. Next up, we have a short radiograph puzzle. Once you place them, what you'll want to do is grab the second radiograph at the top row and move it to the bottom of the display where the light is, because there are 3 spots. There's far right, bottom, and far left. move it to the bottom, and rotate it 180 degrees. Then we want the first radiograph on the top and move it to the far left, and then rotate it so that the skull lines up. You'll see what I mean in just a second. Then you want to grab the second radiograph on the middle row. So all the way to the far right, grab that one and move it to the far right and turn it until you see a skull. That gives us Jeremy's darkness, which is a key item. Strange things come out of a radiograph, but there we are. And with that, we're going to end this video. Thank you all so much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you found this helpful. And I can't wait to see you all in part 6. Until then, Kaji always has wares.